All aboard, all aboard, all aboard. For this holy ride.
Yeah. Come on. Don't bring no baggage.
For we gonna be traveling light.
Ain't no need to buy no ticket. No.
Or even pay a fare.
You just trust in the Savior.
For he's gonna drive you there.
One more time, manifest.
For he's gonna drive you there.
This here. Times can be rough, traveling down the highways of your life.
The road has bumps and turns.
They're gonna be shortcuts, detours and roadblocks up ahead. But through them all, we must learn. Learn that Jesus is my sword and my shield. He's my compass to guide my way. Yeah. We sing glory, hallelujah, amen. For all that he's done today. Sing again, all aboard.
All aboard, all aboard, all aboard. For this holy ride.
Yeah. Don't bring no baggage.
We're gonna be traveling light.
Said it ain't no need to buy no ticket. No.
Or even pay a fare.
You just trust in the Savior.
For he's gonna drive you there.
One more time, brother.
For he's gonna drive you there.
Well, let's ride.
Let's ride, ride, ride.
With the Savior.
Let's ride with thee.
Get your ticket.
Let's ride, ride, ride.
Check out all the ticket.
Let's ride with Jesus.
Let's ride.
Let's ride, ride, ride. Let's ride with thee. Let's ride, ride, ride. Let's ride with Jesus.
Let's ride.
Let's ride, ride, ride. Let's ride with thee. Let's ride, ride, ride. Let's ride with Jesus.
All aboard.
All aboard, all aboard, all aboard. For this holy ride.
Don't bring no baggage.
For we're gonna be traveling light.
Said it ain't no need. Buy no ticket. No.
Or even pay a fare.
You just trust in the Savior.
For he's gonna drive you there.
One last time, fellas.
For he's gonna drive you there.
One last call, all aboard.
All aboard, all aboard, all aboard. For this holy
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the State of the Borough, the great borough of the Bronx address. I'm Deputy Borough President, Aurelia Green, and on behalf of the Borough President and his staff, I'd like to thank Manifest, directed by our good friend Jonathan Hicks. Is he still in the audience? For their performance here today. Wasn't it beautiful? Thank you. Let them know how appreciative we are. More information about this wonderful choral group can be found at their website, which is manifest.com. Before we begin our program, let's take a moment to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Our colors are presented by the New York City Police Department Color Guard, and the anthem will be performed by Maria Vasallo, a Bronx resident and a student from right here at Hostos Community College. Please stand, yes.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was wonderful. Thank you for your performance here today. You make our borough proud. And now, with our invocation, please welcome the first female Orthodox Rabbah, Rabbah Sarah Hurwitz from the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale. Good morning, thank you.
Please remain standing. Ribbana Shalom, Lord in heaven, we are grateful to you for bringing us together on this auspicious day. We, the citizens of the Bronx, with our diverse religious beliefs, cultures, and backgrounds, stand here together in harmony to reflect on all that is before us. We are humbled and awed by a community that has grown and flourished from 1,700 people in the year 1700 to a stunning 1.5 million people today. We are grateful to live a life of freedom in a borough with dynamic businesses, houses of worship, community centers, schools, courts, hospitals, police and fire stations, homeless shelters, and countless citizens dedicated to service, family, and justice. We are blessed with many public servants present in this room, along with the devoted Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., who have gathered here today to take stock in the goodness of our community and the bounty of our lives. And we are further blessed with leaders who are tirelessly committed to the betterment of our community and to meeting the challenges that face the residents of this borough on a daily basis. It is taught that God creates this world anew every day, and in doing so, you, God, have passed on the injunction to each of us to pick up the tools of our trade and continue creating, molding, and improving your world, God. Every day is an opportunity to renew our community and make this borough a better place to live, raise families, and prosper. May God give us the wisdom and humility to be thankful for all that we have achieved. And may God give us the strength and resources to make further progress, to build new roads, fortify the bridges that connect us to other communities in this great city. Oh God in heaven, may every citizen of the Bronx know shelter, warmth, safety, and prosperity. But most of all, oh God of peace, compassion, and justice, bless each of us with the capacity to seek peace, compassion, and justice, to clothe the naked, straighten the bent, and release the bound. Gird us with the power of ahavta l'orecha kamocha, of loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. May you, God, God of mercy who blessed our ancestors before us, bless and protect, guard and help, exalt and uplift all the officials and leaders who are here today, and those in our beloved country who dedicate themselves to the service of others. Bless the soldiers of the American Armed Forces who risk their lives for the sake of peace on earth. And Lord God Almighty, to whom peace belongs, bless this borough president, Ruben Diaz Jr., who has dealt kindly, creating space for all faiths to worship and rejoice, including our own. May the Holy One remove from our world illness and grant complete healing, send blessing and success to all the works of our hands. Adonai yishmar tzeitcha uve'echa. May God bless all of our comings and goings, now and forevermore. Let us say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Hurwitz. And now to recognize our distinguished guests in the audience today, please welcome our Director of External Affairs, Dirk McCall.
Thank you, Madam Deputy. We've been joined by many distinguished elected officials, commissioners, and former elected officials, including New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, Bronx District Attorney Robert Johnson, Bronx Democratic County Leader and Assemblymember Carl Heastie, Judge Douglas McKeon, the Bronx Chief Administrative Judge, Pat Foy, the Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. We're joined by New York State Senators, the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., Ruth Hassel Thompson, Jeff Klein, Gustavo Rivera, and Jose Marco Serrano. We're joined by Assembly members Carmen Arroyo, Marcus Crespo, Jeffrey Dinowitz, Mark Janai, Victor Pichardo, Jose Rivera, and Luis Sepulveda. We're joined by New York City Council members Fernando Cabrera, Maria del Carmen Arroyo, Andrew Cohen, Vanessa Gibson, Andy King, Annabelle Palma, Richie Torres, and Jimmy Vaca. We're joined by a number of distinguished commissioners and former elected officials. Bronx Department of Buildings Commissioner Werner Defoe, Bronx Police Chief Carlos Gomez, Bronx Parks Commissioner Hector Aponte, Bronx DOT Commissioner Connie Moran, Bronx Fire Commissioner Kevin Butler. We're joined by Kyle Kimball, the Executive Director of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, Marco Carrion, Commissioner of the Community Assistance Unit, Terrence Holliday, Commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs, Bronx County Clerk Louis Diaz, Bronx Public Administrator Frank Randazzo, Deputy City Clerk Shirley Saunders, former New York City Council speakers Gifford Miller and Peter Vallone Sr., former Bronx Borough President Adolfo Carrion, former council members June Iceland and Oliver Coppell, former Assembly members Steve Kaufman, Francisco Diaz, and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And we're joined by two wonderful Consul Generals, Omia David, the Consul General of Antigua and Barbuda, and Julio Feol, the Consul General of Chile. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dirk. I would also like to take a moment to thank some of our partners who helped make this event possible. They include the New York Botanical Garden, BronxNet, the New York City Police Department, the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale, and the Bronx County Historical Society. We'd also like to thank our host, Hostos Community College, for their hospitality. Before the borough president comes to the stage, we'd like to take a few moments to hear some welcoming remarks from the president of Hostos Community College, Felix V. Matos Rodriguez.
Thank you so much. Good morning, buenos dias. Good morning to our Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr., to the elected officials who are here, the dignitaries, our friends, our fellow members of the CUNY Bronx community, and fellow members and family friends from the Bronx who gather here today. On behalf of our educational community, over 20,000 students, over 1,000 faculty and staff, over 25,000 alumni, our very own lovely Maria Vasallo, actress, singer, and dental hygiene student, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to Hostos Community College, home of the American dream in the South Bronx. Bienvenidos todos. For the past 46 years, Hostos has been a beacon of intellectual and economic activity, a haven for the arts, and an anchoring institution in the Bronx. Hostos has been an integral part of the great story of the Bronx revival, of the emergence of that new Bronx our dear Borough President talks about. Our presence in the Bronx is based on our commitment to the educational needs of this community and to our belief in their talent and promise. We have been an integral part of the past of this community, and we are here for the long haul. And speaking of the long haul, allow me a second to talk about the future. To do the job this community and all of you have come to expect from Hostos, the college has to grow. Over the last decade, our enrollment has doubled. We need updated facilities to offer the programs that are in demand, particularly in allied health and STEM fields. We need updated facilities to help students graduate on time. We need updated facilities to be able to host community events like this one in your very favorite CUNY campus. And we need to update our facilities to be consistent with the calls for more equality and more investment in communities that have been forgotten. We want to grow so that this entire neighborhood around us can also continue to grow. We want to grow so that our students and our neighbors can thrive. If it is time to invest in communities that have received less than their fair share throughout the last 2 decades, I urge you to invest here. Follow the leadership of our Bronx Borough President and invest in our proposed allied health and natural science complex, destined to be located 2 blocks away from here, behind PS 31. Follow the example of our Bronx City Council delegation and invest in the only CUNY campus that has not had a new building built on their campus since 1994. Thank you. Invest in a vital part of our future education and economic infrastructure that will train Bronxites for allied health professions for which there is solid demand. Invest in a facility that would help more low-income and minority New Yorkers get ready for jobs in STEM fields like environmental science, food science, and biotechnology. Invest in a facility that includes a proposed community health center to serve the needs of our neighbors. Invest in a facility that would encourage others to build affordable housing, retail and entertainment space, and other amenities to make this an economically vibrant community. And we will do all of this in the way we have always done things at Hostos, by being inclusive of our community, by taking care of our own while welcoming others, and by upholding the values of justice and equality. Let's give the rest of the city a roadmap of how we can advance quality of life and economic development in neighborhoods without gentrification and exclusion. Let's make this moment of investment and transformation in the South Bronx a teaching moment, if you wish, for those in the city who are looking for ways to advance equality, justice, and prosperity. We all know that New York City and the Bronx have an inequality crisis. CUNY and Hostos are clearly part of the solution to that crisis. Hostos wants to continue to be, with your help and your support, what we have been for the past 46 years, an agent for change, for transformation, for opportunity, for our students, and for our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, President Matos. And now, I'd like to introduce to you, for the 5th time since he became borough president, and for the first time since he was re-elected in November. And I must say that he's not only our visionary for the Bronx, but he's also our shaker and our mover. Don't you agree? I bring to you my partner in government and my friend here to deliver his annual State of the Borough address, our borough president, Ruben Diaz Jr.
Thank you. Wow. Wow. Packed house here today. First, let me just thank the Deputy Borough President for once again being the mistress of ceremony today, but also, more importantly, for being that voice of reason, that wonderful partner at Borough Hall. Let's give Deputy Borough President Aurelia Green a strong round of applause. I know that all the dignitaries are here today, but I just want to thank all of you up top here. I want to thank you all for coming out to listen to the State of the Borough. Give yourselves a strong round of applause. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. I know that while everyone was announced here, I want to take the time to first thank my good friend, Felix Matos Rodriguez, the president of Hostos Community College, for hosting us here today. And I want to recognize my family who's here. Some family members couldn't be here today, but you all already heard his introduction. That's my dad, State Senator Ruben Diaz Sr. We are joined by my favorite parent, Mommy. Sorry, Dad, I love you, Dad, but Mommy, take a bow, Mommy. You all know Mommy, right? That beautiful woman. Sorry. We are also joined by my brother, Sammy, who's here today. Sammy, take a bow. He doesn't like to be recognized publicly. And my sister, Damaris Diaz, retired from the NYPD. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest with me here today, and she took the day off from school. I know public schools have off this week, but she is not in public school, and nonetheless, she's been really inquiring about being here at the State of the Borough address, and she's just vivacious. She's incredible. She really brings a smile to my face. And Hilda couldn't be here today, but her niece, our niece, Brianna Ortiz, my 9-year-old niece, is with us here today. Wave, Mommy. Wave to the crowd. Thank you all for being here, and good morning. I am proud to stand before you today to deliver my annual State of the Borough address here in one of the crown jewels of our city's public education system, Hostos Community College. Just a few weeks ago, we officially kicked off our full year of festivities and events celebrating Bronx County. I stood with our city council delegation to recreate the inauguration of our county's elected officials back in 1914. Our Bronx Chamber of Commerce presented my office with a plaque outlining the tremendous growth our borough has seen over the past 100 years, and the Empire State Building, perhaps the most iconic symbol of this city, was lit in the colors of the Bronx to celebrate this great anniversary. People are taking notice. We are opening minds and changing perceptions. We will celebrate our heritage this year, but 2014 is not just about looking to the past. We will focus on the present and develop smart plans for the future. The Bronx is transforming all around us. We are rewriting a new chapter of the history of our borough. We are doing so in strong partnership with our institutions, businesses, elected officials, nonprofits, and most importantly, the 1.4 million citizens who call the Bronx their home. We do not stand still. We do not rest on our laurels. We are modernizing the Bronx, creating the new Bronx, and ensuring its strength and vitality, not just today, but for centuries to come. Throughout the 20th century, currency and stock certificates for countries and companies from all over the world were printed in Hunts Point at the American Banknote Building. Today, that structure is home to the Sunshine Business Incubator, which has helped over 70 small companies take root through shared space and creative partnerships. That is the new Bronx. Before anyone lived there, Co-op City was the site of Freedom Land, a theme park that celebrated the history of the United States. This year, our borough's first indoor mall, anchored by a brand new Macy's, will open at Bay Plaza, creating hundreds of new jobs. That is the new Bronx. For decades, the former landfill at Ferry Point Park was an eyesore. Drivers coming to the Bronx using the Whitestone Bridge saw piles of brown dirt as their welcome mat. Now, they will see the rolling hills of a lush green golf course, a major new tourist attraction with a first-class clubhouse and event space created by the Trump Organization. Donald Trump understands the power of his brand, and we are now partners. That is the new Bronx. We have a great story to tell, especially when it comes to safety. The truth is on our side. In 2012, the crime rate in our borough technology. That's okay. The crime rate in our borough was the lowest. It happens. It only works when you don't need it to work, right? Was the lowest it has been since the early 1960s. Last year, we shattered that record. We have made huge gains in crime prevention, and our reductions are setting the pace for the entire city. By certain metrics, the Bronx is a safer place to live than cities such as Philadelphia and Boston, and much safer than New Orleans or Washington, D.C. But we have to rewrite outdated narratives. We have to think differently. So if a politician in Paris decides to use our hometown to make a cheap political point, or if a tour operator twists facts to make a quick buck, we will set the record straight. That is the new Bronx. We also have to make sure that our borough stays safe. For instance, we are reintegrating those who have faced legal troubles back into society. Last year, our reentry task force assisted more than 160 moderate and high-risk parolees with job training, housing placement, education, and other services that are designed to reduce recidivism. My Veterans Advisory Council was also successful in creating a new Veterans Court here in Bronx County. This program serves as an alternative to incarceration and will assist veterans whose felonies have resulted from mental or substance abuse problems arising from military service and steer them into treatment programs. Another example is by enhancing security at our public housing developments, which can deter crime and improve the quality of life for over 100,000 Bronx tenants. Yeah. This year, we put more than $5 million into providing 7 NYCHA developments with various upgrades, including Middletown Plaza, Eastchester Houses, the McKinley Houses, and others. We also have put forward legislation designed to curb criminal activity. This year, we will renew our call for a statewide public gun offender registry, similar to the private one that already exists and is used by the NYPD. With Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson, who chairs the City Council's Public Safety Committee, as well as State Senator Jeff Klein, Assembly Members Carl Hasty and Jeff Dinowitz, we will pass this law. Legislation can make us safe, but crime reduction starts on our streets. Nothing helps decrease crime more than a well-trained, professional police department, functioning in tandem with a civic-minded citizenry. Yes, we have the greatest police department in the world, and we owe our NYPD, Chief Gomez. Could you please stand up and be recognized, all the NYPD members? The NYPDs, please be recognized. Thank you for keeping us safe. But they cannot do it alone. The populace of the Bronx has played just as an important role in lowering crime. We owe ourselves a strong round of applause as well. Let's give ourselves a strong round of applause. Safer streets, safer neighborhoods, a safer Bronx requires a strong partnership between the people who live here and the police officers that serve us. We can always do better, and we must do better when it comes to stop and frisk. Our new mayor understands how harmful stop and frisk can be and is committed to reform. I stand ready to work with Mayor de Blasio and Police Commissioner Bill Bratton in their efforts to reshape stop and frisk in a way that keeps our neighborhoods safe, but does so with respect. There are other ways to rebuild the trust between the community and the police. We are doing this by creating new community partnerships and healthier Bronxites through an innovative program we launched in January. It's called CBOR. And CBOR, CBOR stands for Community Board Athletic Leadership League. The goal of CBOR is to promote physical activity through basketball while facilitating engagement within our community boards and with city agencies such as the NYPD. Our first game took place in January, and I'm proud to say that I joined the elected officials team, but I'm sad to say that we lost. I think it's safe to say that Luis Sepulveda and I won't be going to the NBA anytime soon. CBOR is just one way we're making our borough a healthier place. We held our first ever health summit last year, and nearly 1,000 individuals from all over the nation joined together that day to listen, to voice their concerns about health issues in the Bronx, and to begin outlining a plan of action. We are joining the City Council to push an expanded paid sick leave bill, and will redouble our efforts to require a health impact statement for construction projects this year. We partnered with the Food Network and Cablevision to promote healthier eating in our schools. And our CAN initiative continues to help Bronxites make the small, healthy changes in their lives that will eventually lead to big results. Through these projects and more, we are creating a model for healthy living through community engagement right here in the Bronx. Our schools, where future generations of engaged citizens are created, are another key to a great city. Working with our education consortia, my office continues to meet with school and university leaders at every level to discuss capital needs, curriculum, and the shared issues that face our public schools. We've done some great work in our borough, thanks to the input and the advice of these consortia, and I am grateful for their efforts. And if they are here, where are the members of the consortium? Could you please stand up and be recognized? All of the members of the consortium, please stand up. Let's give them a strong round of applause. Since taking office in 2009, we have put almost $24 million into 173 education projects at all levels. I've seen firsthand how important this can be, not just to a school and its physical plant, but more importantly to the students who spend their days inside. In October, I cut the ribbon at a new computer lab at PS MS 194 in Castle Hill, a project for which I provided over $100,000 for. The students were awesome. They displayed their computer expertise, showed off their PowerPoints, and even did a little tweeting. They were engaged, and our funding helped to make that possible. Partnering with Chancellor Carmen Farina, my office and our consortia will continue to identify schools like this that are in need of upgrades, especially technology upgrades, and provide them with the necessary funding to make those improvements. Big changes are coming at the Department of Education. For the past 12 years, we've seen an education system dictate from the penthouse rather than engage from the ground floor. We've seen an education system that did not properly engage parents and the community at large, while outright denigrating the leaders of our classrooms, our teachers. It is a new day. Greater involvement and greater transparency are coming to Tweed. In cooperation with the new administration, we will push for our schools to reach new heights of success. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when given the opportunity and the resources, our children do succeed. When given a chance, we develop geniuses in the Bronx, such as the students at the Bronx Design and Construction Academy. These students are one of just 5 across the entire world they're the winners of the Zayed Future Energy Prize for Green Development. They flew all the way to Dubai to accept their award. And we are proud to have them with us today in the Bronx. Would they please stand up? Where are the students? All of the students of the school, stand up. Let's give them a... We're so proud of them. How we acquire those resources has been a topic of some discussion as of late. Should we create new taxes? Or should we use existing funds to give our children a necessary leg up? What's important to me and important to us is that universal pre-K just be implemented. And it is time to take the politics out of this proposal. It is time for Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo to compromise on universal pre-K. Our children and their parents deserve no less. Our borough has a long, rich history when it comes to education. The numerous world-class colleges that call the Bronx home have earned us the nickname, the Borough of Universities. We have institutions with amazing alumni communities, such as the Bronx High School of Science and DeWitt Clinton High School, where former graduates still play a major role in the lives of those schools to this day. But unfortunately, right across the street, one example of our borough's great history and education is crumbling before our eyes. It is an absolute disgrace that the city allowed for PS 31, one of the most iconic school buildings in the city, and my own alma mater, to fall into such disrepair that it is scheduled to be torn down. This past summer, I walked those very same halls again. And what I saw was incredibly disheartening. I mean, these are the very rooms where I fell in love with learning, and where teachers like Mr. Peloso and Ms. Rosen and our great principal, Mrs. Russo, helped to set me on the path to where I am today. With that said, It is time for innovation. The city must issue a new RFP for the PS 31 site. This RFP should examine whether or not the building can be saved, and should also explore a wide variety of uses for the site in order to stimulate street life and blend in with the neighborhood around us. You see, the Lower Grand Concourse is an exciting place these days. Hostos Community College is planning a major new allied health and science building. Fellow, you'll like this even more, right? A project I believe is so important to the future of our borough that I have committed more than $2 million in capital funding towards its completion. With the right neighborhood engagement and the appropriate community benefits agreement, I could even see a new soccer stadium a few blocks from here. Given all of this new development, we have to do more to influence growth. That means continuing to implement our conceptual master plan for the redesign of the Bronx. That means smart, sensible planning, planning with a purpose that makes the most of our available amenities. It is time for the creation of a new waterfront district along the Harlem River, between 138th Street and 149th Street, one that would lead to development similar to the Brooklyn Bridge Park. Bronx sites should have quality waterfront access, and this project could make that happen. We must also fight for the future of the Bronx General Post Office. Many of us have tried to stop this sale, and the legislative efforts in Congress to protect this facility were useless. And we are now faced with a daunting task. And we cannot allow Washington bureaucrats to simply sell one of our most cherished assets to the highest bidder. This is a public asset, and its liquidation should not be carried out behind closed doors. We do have options. We have met with several developers. They have put forward innovative ideas for the space. Doing what's best for our borough requires us to move on good ideas, rather than wait for things just to happen on their own. In order to get the best possible project, in order to see the best possible ideas move forward, we must stand up, and we will be heard. We've done so much in the last 4 years, and I must take a moment to acknowledge the amazing new venture that will bring the world's greatest ice sports complex to our borough, the Kingsbridge National Ice Center. This project will bring $300 million in private development funds, living wage jobs, and the strongest community benefits agreement ever written to our borough. I have to thank Councilman Fernando Cabrera, former Councilman Oliver Coppell, State Senator Gustavo Rivera, all of the community board members of Community Board 7, CARA, and the hundreds of residents and organizations who contributed to this great victory. Let's give them all a strong round of applause. Because working together, what we have set was a new standard for responsible development. That, ladies and gentlemen, is planning with a purpose. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Diaz Doctrine. The world's largest ice sports center is an example of what can happen when we think differently. It's time we all think different. Think the Bronx. It's time to embark on our innovative ideas. It's time to bring ferry service to Soundview. This plan will open up new transit options for thousands of Bronx commuters. A recent study found that the Soundview route to be among the most promising ferry sites in the city, and noted that property values and new development has grown faster at current ferry locations. Working with Councilwoman Anabel Palma, we will see similar growth here. It's also time to expand Metro North access to the East Bronx. This has been a vision in the minds of Bronxites since the 1960s, and we have never been closer to making it happen. New stations at Co-op City, Parkchester, Hunts Point, and Morris Park would make the Bronx more attractive to new businesses, and while opening up new employment opportunities across the region for our residents. In May, I joined Senator Klein and other community leaders, and we released a report on the immense impact this expansion will have on the Bronx. It showed that this plan will create 5,400 new jobs, increase home values by more than $140,000 per home, and increase business activity in the Bronx by more than $1 billion. In his State of the State address in January, Governor Cuomo himself made this a priority of his administration. Let me be crystal clear. Nothing is more important than making this long-held vision a reality. And we're going to work together to do that, right? We've accomplished a great deal together over the past 4 years. We've created more than 14,000 jobs, and we will create thousands more with the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. We've placed nearly 1,500 Bronx residents into available employment through our workforce development program alone. We've invested more than $600 million in housing, building nearly 13,000 new units. We've created projects like the Bronx-Chester Urban Renewal in Melrose. This is a LEED certified development that will bring us nearly 1,000 mixed income housing units of all sizes, retail and community space, and a new skate park. Projects like this contribute to the continuing growth of the New Bronx, which is a place of boutique hotels and green development. We've helped to create more than $75 million in loans through our Business Initiative Corporation, helping companies of all sizes expand in our borough. Our parks are greener, having seen more than $100 million in capital upgrades in my first term. Crime is lower, our streets are cleaner, and thanks to the Bronx Tourism Council, thousands of new visitors are taking a new look at the New Bronx. A lot has happened over the past 4 years, but don't take my word for it. Let's have a look.
Good things are happening in the Bronx. And if you didn't know it, Ruben Diaz Jr. would tell you it repeatedly. He's even taught me to do that thing with the holes, right? Okay. Yeah, he's taught me.
The Borough President Diaz has been incredible. Honestly, it's been our commitment to commit to this project with complete transparency, honesty, and truth in what we're trying to achieve. We want to create jobs. We We want to make this an iconic destination around the world that people come into the Bronx, and the people here in the Bronx can be proud of what we have to offer.
Ruben was a tremendous supporter. He recognized the opportunity to bring new jobs to the neighborhood, to redevelop a famous site in his community, and what that change would mean to Kingsbridge and Riverdale. And he, from the first meeting, was excited and really wanted to know how the Bronx could help the project move forward.
Working with the borough president has been tremendous, particularly because he has an amazing staff who have really been thoughtful, positive, constructive, and helpful in every step of the way. So right from the beginning, when we started the rezoning, all the way through the development, helping to come up with not just good ideas, but also some money through the capital budget to help make this project happen. Every step of the way, the borough president and his staff have been amazing partners.
Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz has impacted the Bronx in a very visionary way. He has really sought to impact economic development out of the box. He has understood, like no other borough president, that in order to create jobs, you needed to support businesses in a very proactive, very responsive, very sustainable way. He has done that, and the Bronx has benefited in a very large way as a result of his vision.
He's awesome. He's just great. I mean, I'd say that of all the politicians that I have worked with, he truly cares about his people in the Bronx. He's been very welcoming. But don't get me wrong, when I first met with him, he was very concerned about, were we a good employer? Were we going to bring benefits to the Bronx? And I think once he understood about how much we care about our workers and the jobs we have and what we pay, he became a huge supporter. And it's been a great relationship.
He's a fantastic man. He's done an amazing job, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without yourself.
Thank you.
I want to thank you.
Thank you for believing in our borough.
Thank you. I do indeed. I believe in you.
This is our year, ladies and gentlemen. In 2014, we are going to show the world that the New Bronx is more than just rhetoric. It's a movement. This is our centennial celebration. We are going to have the most productive year the borough has seen in quite some time. We will revisit the Cross Bronx Expressway and develop a plan to rehabilitate and design this road so that it works for our borough and is no longer an eyesore. In partnership with Councilman Jimmy Vaca, we will rid our streets of their most common summer nuisance, dirt bikes. With Councilwoman Annabelle Palmer. Those dirt bikes, man. With Councilwoman Annabelle Palmer and the entire delegation, we will expand our living wage bill to bring labor harmony to city development and give more people an opportunity for success. We will develop a plan to allow Bronx residents more access to their waterfront, with a goal of allowing one to walk, run, or bicycle without interruption from Pelham Bay Park all the way to Riverdale. We will increase recreational activity in all corners of the borough, and we will welcome 2 new YMCA centers in Williamsbridge and the 149th Street Hub. We will join Governor Cuomo in his call for a renter's tax credit and provide relief for the more than 80% of Bronxites who do not own their own homes. We will, yeah, you can clap for that. We will work together with Assemblyman Marco Crespo and demand a DREAM Act for New York State. I mean, if they can do it in New Jersey, we should be able to do it right here, and why not? We will create a new specialized portfolio high school for Bronx students, one that does not rely solely on high-stakes tests to gain admission. And we will join Mayor de Blasio in his call for increased STEM options for our students. 2014 is our centennial. We celebrate 100 years as our own county, the youngest county in New York State. However, our story starts 375 years ago when Jonas Bronk landed in Mount Haven, becoming the first European settler north of the Harlem River. The early 18th century saw the need for a crossing between our borough and Manhattan. That bridge, the King's Bridge, is long gone, but its name lives on in that thriving community. The fight for freedom from the crown came later. Our own Gouverneur Morris joined the brave men who publicly declared their independence from the British. And the Minutemen fought valiantly at the Battle of Pell Point. Many of the heroes who battled for that freedom, Heath, Putnam, Green, are memorialized in our street names. The 1840s saw the completion of the High Bridge and the founding of Fordham University. In 1846, Edgar Allan Poe sought refreshing country air and moved near today's Grand Concourse. The late 19th century saw the purchase of the land that would become some of our greatest parks, Van Cortlandt, Pelham Bay Park, Crotona Park, and others, ensuring that our residents would forever have amazing outdoor space and shaping our neighborhoods for centuries to come. The 20th century saw the completion of our bridges and highways, the extensive infrastructure that makes us so attractive to new business today. The Jerome Park Reservoir opened. The Morris Park racetrack was closed. And the original house that Ruth built was completed. Throughout this, our population was in flux. We started with the Dutch and the Germans, and later saw major immigration from Irish, Italians, and European Jews. African Americans and Puerto Ricans came afterwards. And today we see Dominicans, Albanians, Mexicans, Garifuna, Bangladeshi, Africans, and many others joining the great Bronx melting pot. Hip hop and salsa were born here, but let's not forget, so was doo-wop. We are the home of Willie Colon, Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Dion and the Belmonts. We are a place of bacalaíto and burek and pizza and pastrami. We have seen tremendous changes throughout our history, and we are a stronger community for having embraced that change. And no time is that more apparent than today. We are a place of growth, a place where new business is moving and existing businesses are expanding. We have seen hundreds of millions of dollars in new housing and thousands of new jobs. We are seeing major new projects built here and even bigger ideas on the horizon. We're getting safer. We're marketing ourselves as a destination, and we're receiving national and international attention for our efforts. A major newspaper in Switzerland says, the Bronx is filled with gardens and artist lofts. In Ireland, they say the Bronx is bursting with energy and a place on the rise. In Spain, they write, the Bronx isn't what it was, it's better. And in Germany, they declared the Bronx is back. Clear across the globe, people are appreciating the new Bronx. But I cannot do it alone. Our centennial is a time to celebrate our shared ideas and our shared sacrifice for the betterment of our borough. Colin Powell, who went from an apartment on Kelly Street to the highest levels of power in Washington and the Bronx Walk of Fame, once said, A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. We know what we want to see in our borough. Our dreams are laid out before us. Over the past 4 years, if not the past 4 decades, we have put our own sweat, our own determination, and our own hard work into rebuilding and redesigning our borough, into realizing our dreams of what the Bronx can and will become. Over the next 4 years, we will go even further. We will build on this strong foundation so that 100 years from now, when our successors observe the bicentennial of this county, they will look back at our work and see it as a watershed moment. They will look back and see a time when the people of this borough, regardless of race, gender, creed, sexual orientation, came together with a common cause, a common dream, and worked as one Bronx to develop the new Bronx, our Bronx.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time.